Hi, everyone. Brett Mathis here. Uh, Lesson number 7 here in our wonderful class. ChatGPT, I'm super excited because I first learned about it earlier last semester from the children, from my kids, and I have fallen in love. So, what I'm doing is I'm preparing for the ACT in March. Well, this month. We're about 3 weeks away, a couple weeks away, and I have been tasked with working with the science section. We are requiring our kids to all take the science section this year in Bellevue Public Schools. So I've had a couple of sessions already, but I have two more left. So both of my presentations today are going to talk about ACT science. And this lesson plan here, I think, just lays it all out perfectly. The science section is so specific, and the things we're going to need for this is I've got my TV, my projector, my timers, my highlighters, things like that to get ready to go with the kids. So first things first is introducing the science test. They've been introduced a little bit, but reassuring them, the 35 minutes, 40 questions, those 6 to 7 specific passages are super, super huge, and really focusing on interpreting the data. That's something that is so important when it comes to taking the science section in this course. Um, talking to the students, quick prompts, and talk about those time pressures and the charts and the graphs that are going to be there. Next thing we're going to want to do is really look at the graphs and charts. We've pulled them up before on some videos that I presented to them, but really look at them, talk about the most common things, talk about the different experiments they're going to read in this test in the short amount of time, look at those variables and look at the results, okay? And we're going to also talk about the conflicting viewpoints. There'll be at least one question on conflicting viewpoints. Talk about those, get those ready. Another strategy we really want to look at is reading the questions, looking at how much time do we need to spend on them, know what data to be looking for by reading the questions, skimming them, okay? Look at those facts of the trends of the graphs, okay? Look at the high-low values. Look at the relationship variables that the question is going to ask. So use those questions to guide these students to figure out where to go in the graphs. All right, hard questions. If they are just totally stumped, they just can't stay there on that question. So they got to move on and return if possible. 30 seconds, you got to move on. That's super huge. And then practicing. They've already taken the whole test earlier this semester, but now they've taken specific sections. Actually, took math today. So we're going to look at short passages and look at 3 or 4 questions individually, about 3 minutes each. We're going to answer questions together, explain the reasonings, mark down spots to look at, highlight things, super important, and ask the kids where they found this information in the graphs. Okay, that's so, so vital for them to take that precious time to find the information they need, not to dig in too deep. All right, at the end, we're going to review the takeaways. We're going to review it, how to look at the questions, focusing on graphs and tables, and don't read everything. You got to manage that time. We've told them you don't have to be a science whiz to take this test. You have to be able to read and interpret certain things and find the answers because the answers are all there. So I'm excited to use this. Hopefully it's effective, and I like ChatGPT.